Daniel, you know what team I feel really, really bad for their fan base?
Mir.
I was watching a lot of Brooklyn Nets this year.
Yep.
I feel really, really bad for their fan base in the Nets faithful. And I say the Nets faithful because I used to be a part of the Nets faithful back when they were in New Jersey. And man, they don't know what they're doing right now. They
Yep.
don't know who their star is. They thought when they traded for Mikal Bridges, even though that was much to oblige the trade request of Kevin Durant, and he looked like an absolutely otherworld superstar last year. He is fallen back into that role player, um, and hasn't looked anything like the guy they thought that they were getting. You have an overabundance of guys. You had, I guess, at the guard position, you had Dennis Schroeder, who's been on the Lakers, been on the Raptors, and been on the Celtics. Like you had him, you had Spencer Dinwiddie, who then was released, and you have Cam Thomas, right? Cam Thomas, a guy who acts as if he plays on an AAU team. He shoots the basketball. He does not know when to say when. He doesn't know when to uh, when to play with more patience and poise. He plays with reckless abandonment at times and takes ill-advised and egregious shots. You have Nick Claxton, who is a very talented big man, who I believe could be one of the better centers in the association. He can score. He can grab rebounds. He's a good defender. He can defend all five on the court if you ask him to. Um, but then you have this overabundance at the center position with him and Day'Ron Sharp, and you don't know what to do. Then you have the emergence of the guy like Trenton Watford. It's just a lot going on for me with the Nets, and there's no clear superstar. There's no clear guy that's the X factor of our team. So when we're going through a tough patch, a tough road, who's going to be the guy to break us through? I don't see that for the Nets. And people can say, oh, Cam Thomas is that guy. Sure. This is a guy in Cam Thomas that could go for 40 one night and then 15 the next night.
Mm-hmm.
And then one night he might go for 10. Like, it's weird. There's not that superstar on the team that can break through. They fired their coach, who I thought was absolutely horrible, and Jock Vaughn, Jock Vaughn, whatever his name was. And they brought in Ali. And I like the fact that Ali lets the guys play more, but he clearly isn't over his head. He doesn't know what he's doing. So, like, they need to literally start from scratch. But it's very tough when you go from selling your fan base and selling this organization on, guess what, guys? We got our big three. We've got Kevin Durant. We've got Kyrie Irving. And guess who we got? We got Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. We've got James Harden. That's our big three. And then all within the span of a year and a half, maybe less, they're all gone.
Mm-hmm.
They're all gone. This is a team just a couple years ago, had the referee got the shot right, we could be talking about them as being in the finals and being champions. But they got it wrong. They got screwed. They lost. And then it's just been a downhill from there. And now you see Kevin Durant having success with the Phoenix Suns. You see Kyrie Irving having the time of his life with Luka Doncic and the Mavericks. You see James Harden having success with the Clippers. And you guys are just left standing there. It's almost like the SpongeBob meme with Patrick and having fun out there and Squidward's looking outside the window, wishing he could be a part of it. Like it reminds me of that. And you got Mikal Bridges, who seems like he's dying to be with the New York Knicks, to be a part of, be with his brothers. It seems like he wants to be a part of that. So, and I can't imagine Claxton's long for the Nets either, not unless they throw the bag at him.
I think Claxton free agent this year.
Yeah, he is. Mm-hmm. Not unless they throw the bag at him. And I think a great spot for him would be the Dallas Mavericks, but that's another story. When I look at it, I just say, damn, what is the Brooklyn Nets? What are they left with? Mm-hmm. Who is their guy? You can hope and pray that Cam Thomas develops, but what I've seen, it would do him well to have a vet with him. Dorian Finney-Smith is a hot commodity in the league. I'm not sure if he's a free agent or not, but I know that he's going to probably want to move to greener pastures for a chance to compete. He ain't getting any younger. It's just a very, very weird spot So who do you build around? Do you build around the two Cams, Cam Thomas and Cam Johnson, and say those are going to be our guys? And maybe you say Day'Ron Sharpe, you are starting. I have no idea. But what if you were looking at the Brooklyn Nets? I keep wanting to say the New York Nets, but the Brooklyn Nets. How are you fixing them? What is their next path to breaking this thing open, man?
So number one, Malik, fire your GM, Sean Marks. Fire your GM. Sean Marks has been there since 2017. He's been there from D'Angelo Russell. He's been there from the Kevin Durant, the Kyrie Irving. He's been there he's on his fourth head coach. Sean Marks has done a disservice to the Nets this season and in previous season, but let's just talk about this season. He could have got multiple first-round picks, Malik, multiple for Mikal Bridges and Dorian Finney-Smith, and instead he wanted to what? Try to compete with this roster. So the path forward for the Brooklyn Nets, it always, and I promise you guys, it always starts at the top. Fire Sean Marks. Let go of him, part ways, because it's not working. He's been here for 6 years. He's been here for 7 years. And this is the first year. They've been made the playoffs for 5 straight years. This is the first year that they're not going to make the playoffs. And what did you gain out of this year? Nothing. You didn't play your young guys. So what are you doing? What are you doing with this rotation? Like I said, Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges. I give Mikal Bridges, the organization pass for Mikal Bridges a little bit because people expected him to be a superstar. I think teams caught up. They started double teaming him. He kind of fell off a little bit, and he's not meant to be a superstar. So number one, Malik, is fire or part ways with Sean Marks. Number two, you have to start getting rid of some of these contracts, right? Nick Claxton should be a very good piece, but you might have to just let him walk and start building with new guys. Start building with young guys. There's no reason why you should be pairing Dorian Finney-Smith. There's not. You're not competing right now. So if I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I'm looking for a young guy to spark something. I'm looking for a young guy to give me some infusion because I don't think Cam Thomas is it. I don't think Cam Thomas you can build a franchise around. And you still got Ben Simmons under contract making $35 million next year, Malik. What's your plan?
Yeah.
So number one, let me just start off. I think you got to fire or part ways with Sean Marks, and you need to get new leadership in there because the way that they're running their team, the way that they're trying to quote unquote go all in with Kevin Durant and James Harden, it doesn't work. It shows you that they didn't have a real plan, and it shows you that respectfully, Malik, they do not have a plan right now. The Brooklyn Nets do not. So for Brooklyn Nets fans, we apologize sincerely because this should not be the product that you guys are watching. This shouldn't be. You guys shouldn't be having to rely on, Dennis Smith Jr. and Cam Thomas. So if I am the Brooklyn Nets, I am biding my time and trying to save up money and looking for a young guy to potentially build around for the future because Mikal Bridges is not a superstar.
But you have that young guy, right? You have Cam Thomas. What I believe is,
Okay.
and if you believe in that guy, and I think you kind of have to, right, to see what he has.
Okay.
He's the one hope you have to cling on to. He's the one piece that you say, you know what, we're sticking by. Because I'm imagining Claxton, unless you throw the bag at him, is going to probably want to, test his market and see what he can get out there. But I actually think you can pair a veteran with Cam Thomas and see if you can compete.